I'm Greg Shapiro, and let's queer up students and youth culture. 2/3 of LGBTQ plus students say they feel unsafe at schools in the U.S. A new national survey has found that 2/3 of queer students in the United States say they feel unsafe at school because of their sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. The findings come from Glisten, an organization dedicated to creating safe and respectful learning environments for students of all sexual orientations, gender identities, gender expressions, races, and abilities. The data is part of Glisten's 13th National School Climate Survey, which gathered responses from LGBTQ plus K-12 students during the 2024-25 school year, including intersex, asexual, and two-spirit students. According to the survey, only 1 in 3 LGBTQ plus students said they frequently or often look forward to going to school. Among transgender and gender-expansive students, 86% said they avoided certain areas of their school. The survey also found widespread harassment. 62% of students reported harassment because of their sexual orientation, while 69% experienced harassment related to their gender identity or gender expression. Nearly half of BIPOC LGBTQ plus students said they experienced harassment because of their race or ethnicity. The survey also found that more than half of students faced LGBTQ plus related discrimination, including being prevented from using locker rooms that matched their gender identity. Over 40% said they were punished for using bathrooms aligned with their gender, and over 60% reported avoiding school bathrooms altogether. Well, I'm going to say, I'm not sure how many people know this, but I graduated a semester early from high school because I was bullied and felt safe on a daily basis. So I understand that kind of fear, and it's terrifying. But it also makes you wonder what kind of households these kids, these bullying kids, are coming from. Are they learning this vitriol and violence from their parents? Is that where are the parents telling them this? Or are they just simply being bullied at home and they need a place?
I would like to know the breakdown of the percentage of people who are feeling harassed and discriminated based on the type of school they go to. Is it public school? Is it private school?
Yeah. They
is
do
it
have
religious
details
school?
About that in the survey, but I didn't see them do the breakdown, just where the students came from.
Yeah, because for example, maybe the discrimination is more prevalent in charter school, religious charter schools, for example, or public school, of course. But there's also private school. I'm lucky enough to went to a secular, mostly Reformed Jewish populated high school back in the day when I was a little zygote, and I never really got that much discrimination. But on the other hand, I feel like there are a lot of motivation, there are a lot of kids who learn from the red pilling or conservative or turf community through social media, through TikTok, through whatever they hear from their peers. And also, unfortunately, I have to say that homophobia seems to be very ingrained in the early development of adolescents, because they either consider it to be unknown and therefore scary and therefore evil, and parents have abdicated these tasks of teaching these people.
Except that has also changed a million years ago when I was in high school, that was a very different situation. But now they see things on TV, positive examples on television. So I think that, I'm not sure if that's affecting them, and more of their classmates are coming out because they feel safer to do that. So
there's a few, just looking at this survey as a research director that has done surveys, including with the LGBT community, my questions were one, I don't know what this data says over time because like I've seen ever since I was a kid, like on the LGBTQ commission in Massachusetts, like the data of queer kids feeling bullied and homophobic has been very high. So I want to know if it's increasing or decreasing. I also want to know what it is compared to straight kids. Like, cause when I did like with restaurant workers, LGBTQ like harassment, it was obviously the queer people got homophobic issues way more often, but the straights got it a lot too. And that helped me understand that like some of what we're dealing with is more community-wide towards everyone. But if you're just like, if transphobic stuff is happening to just trans kids, that's a very specific situation that you as a school would have to handle differently than if they're being transphobic to everyone. Which isn't saying that kids should be transphobic to anybody, just learning what's going on. And I didn't get to know what was going on with this third.
Also, kids are cruel, and people are, and you know, and people can be face transphobic abuse just because, for example, a girl who is too tomboy, she likes sports, and therefore suddenly she's a man. And also, I want to know how many bullies are we talking about here? In one school, one bully can spoil the lives of 40 different students.
That's true.
So, I mean, prevalent bullying, yes, but how many of them are the culprits is also something that I want to take a look at.
There tends to be reasons why kids are bullies and cruel. Like, it's not the idea that, like, you know, kids just want to be mean to each other. You tend to, like, as someone who's had parents that have been in the schools, like, the kids that act out the most tend to come from bad situations.
Right.
Like, they might be hungry when they're at school. They might be in dirty clothes. The horror stories my parents would tell me at the dinner table as a kid would just blow your mind. But also like how the school acts. If the school's being very aggressively on top of students, that can also lead to kids acting out.
Looking back, and I had some mixed experiences, especially in junior high and then high school, you know, where are the teachers and administrators? Why aren't they patrolling or policing it more? I mean, they can't be everywhere at every time, but certainly I recall back a few instances where teachers just sort of let it happen, even on the school bus. And, you know,
and there is a difference.
Abuse.
Yeah, there is a difference between like aggressively just telling a kid not to say it and teaching them. Like when I was a substitute teacher, I would have kids tell me I was a faggot, like honestly to my face. But like, some people would be like instantly go to the office, and I'm like, well, let's actually talk and get to know what a gay person is actually like. Yeah. And the kid that called me a faggot at the beginning of the school year thought I was a wonderful person and loved gay kids at the end of it because I didn't do the whole aggressive, like, I'm just going to punish you. I'm like, well, why do you think that? Where are you getting that from? Like, kids need to, they want to learn, and they want to learn in ways that they can understand and want to relate to society.
I mean, but on the other hand, I mean, I think that a lot of educators are not, there's not an indictment of all educators, but some educators definitely look the other way, or even subordinate behavior when we're talking about we are talking about people who, these days being an educator is hard, and it's very difficult to find the right person to be an educator to begin with. Public school teachers are resigning in droves. Coaches are now being roped into.
That's why they have a license, you know, licensed professional.
But more than that, I'm asking, you know, what are the quality of the educators, and the fact that there's also a larger structural problem here. Remember, now we have a Department of Education that now thinks that probably punishing bullies is not somehow DEI. And, you know, we are talking about an administration who wants to encourage bullying. These people literally outright saying on social media, bring back bullying so that the kids will conform to their societal norms, not to stand out, not to come out. They want us, push us all back into the closet and live a miserable life so that they can establish their right-wing utopia.
But also, don't forget, there's also the extreme in the increase in religious extremism. I mean, there are teachers who are probably getting degrees at Liberty University or Wheaton fucking College, and the worst of the worst, and then they're teaching in public schools.
That's part
and they're bringing that into it too.
That's part of Christian nationalism. They want to populate the education.
And they want the school board.
And I mean, like, just to be clear,
don't get me started with school.
Christian nationalists love money, and if you love money, teaching is probably not the place to go to right now. And that is the lack of teacher pay is a big one. On the whole, like, we want to indoctrinate our kids to act a certain way. If you really want your classroom to be in chaos, that's exactly what you do, is try and tell them what to think.
Right.
But I just want to end it on one last thing. If you are a queer kid, any kid, and you're experiencing bullying, you're experiencing this like harassment, like obviously if you feel comfortable, talk to parents and teachers, but please remember, it really does get better, especially if you're queer. Go and find a place that has other queers. Run to New York City. Run to South Florida. Go. It gets better, kids. That's the one thing I just want to leave us on.
Chicago, San Francisco, a lot of places, hey, even in the middle of the country, they have blue dots.
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
have
sure
to run
these
far.
kids know how to Google where to go to have a good gay time. And there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.